Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Performance E streaming. It is Thursday night, and that means one thing: it is the ANZCAR Cup. We are back after a week away, relaxing, enjoying some nice, cool drinks, sitting in the sunshine and resting up. It's myself, Carl Wilkinson, with Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Oh, sorry, mate. Just let me put down this margarita and I'll get back to you. No, it's good to be back, mate, after a week off. A bit of an interesting night tonight, an all cement track. So it's going to throw a few curveballs, I think.
Absolutely. Nashville Super Speedway, a very different speedway to many out there. The unique concrete layout of the track really makes a difference here. Of course, we also have Matty Hunter doing all the hard work in the background. How you going, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going good. Yep, looking forward to this. That's one of the three concrete tracks on the circuit. So I'm definitely a big fan of the concrete tracks, driving them myself. But yeah, should be good.
Absolutely. I think the fastest concrete track out there as well, at least the biggest. So it should be some fun stuff indeed. Just looking quickly at the weather forecast, we have got mostly cloudy, 26 degrees in the air. It's going to be 28 degrees down on track side with 0% humidity and a little bit of wind. So the cars are starting to line up for the start of tonight's race. Let us go through the starting grid here for round 17 of the ANZCAR Cup for 2023. And it's an all-orange front row. Dyson and Barry Neal locking themselves out on the front. Row number 2 sees Toby Stent and Shane Bowen up there. Dave Douglas sits next to Riley Curtis on the third row. We've got Lachlan Aquio and Daniel Hederscheid sitting on row number 4. Row number 5 sees SRM locking it out with Brenton Henderson and Matty Ray. Daryl Hockey is next to Alexander Sheridan on row number 6. Row 7 sees Stevie Dubb next to Neil Pearson, a DPR lockout. JCW is on the 8th row next to Phil Otto. Jamie Nankervis and Darren Lobb make up the 9th row with Gary Wellman and Norman Clark on row number 10. It's Raymond Yeager next to Nigel Patton. It's the Pinnacle cars lining up next to each other on row 11. Row 12 sees Jai Schultz next to Christopher Tomlin. Ryan Jones is next to Luke Crum on the 13th row. Tristan Koch and Ruben Phelps on row number 14. Matt Patton and Aidan Schultz, row number 15. And rounding out our grid of 31 tonight, it's Kobe Jordan in the 16th row. So a bumper field here tonight, Mark. Plenty of cars out here for Nashville Super Speedway. It could be a little bit tricky at the start. These cold tyres do not offer a huge amount of grip in the opening stages, so watch out for people just struggling as they get into turns 1 and 2. Who are you looking at tonight?
Look, I've got to put my money on Jamie Nankervis. He's due for a breakthrough win. But in saying that, there's plenty of good guys out here tonight.
Absolutely. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Barry Neal. We know how good he can be on his night, and this could be a track that favours his tyre-saving ability. Up on the front row, they're about to go green here at Nashville Super Speedway. First time out tonight. We're going for the green flag. Racing is about to start here for the Cup Series, and away we go. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy these cars as they thunder around Music City. They make it round for the first lap here at Nashville as the sun starts to set. Plenty of action going on in the mid-pack, but Dyson leads out in front. Toby Stent behind him with Barry Neal. Dave Douglas, Shane Bowen making up the next couple of spots. Daniel Hederscheid in 6th. Riley Curtis, Lachlan Urquhart, Brenton Henderson and Matty Ray. That's our top 10 at the moment. Plenty of action, though, going on throughout the field. Lots of two-wide action we're seeing on track at the moment. Riley Curtis with Shane Bowen at the moment, really putting on a good show. Next to, Daniel Hederscheid, that is, on the inside, putting on a good show at the moment in these early stages. 140 laps around Music City Oval. But it's going to be a long old race. and you're going to want to try and protect those tyres a little bit in the long runs.
Yeah, definitely are. You know, it's you don't see a great deal of tyre wear at a lot of other tracks, but here the tyre should wear and wear fairly harshly too. The funny thing though about this place, Carl, is you know we think of a super speedway at 2 mile or more. This place is only 1.333 miles long. So I don't know how they get to call it a super speedway, but some of the racing here is like a super speedway.
Absolutely. I mean, back in the day, it was one of the longer tracks out there, of course, and it's sort of carried over that reputation in the latter years, but it really does bring up a different kind of racing. This track can really, really punish you because of that concrete surface. It's very different to race on, and if you're not used to it, it can really catch you out in the early stages, of course. It's different kinds of grip levels. It's a different kind of feeling on the car. It can really, really change things up. Looking at Ryan Jones now with Stevie Dubb there battling away. They've got the Gemini Curtis just behind them as well. Just had to double look at that car on the screen because it looks a little bit too purple. I was like, wait, is that Jason Martin? No, that's definitely Jamie.
Yeah, further back there, Carl, you've got Raymond Jager, Matt Patton, and Gary Willman having a nice little battle, and Norman Clark and Charlie Schultz back there, and Toby Jordan is back there too. All the inside lane production guys are getting very close together further back in the field, but if they can join up and start to work together, you'll find those guys will come to the forefront very quickly. Oh, Matt Patton there getting close to Gary Willman.
It's kind of like a bit of a carry-on from Sunday night, really. Oh, he's got a car on the wall. Is that Riley Curtis? His caution is out.
Okay,
That's unfortunate for him. I actually missed what happened there.
Yeah, it's all a bit strange. It's all a bit late on the caution, and yeah, we'll have a look at this replay here. Oh.
Just snapped right on him, Carl.
Yeah, that was an odd one. Just going back and a little look at that.
Tell you what, the
New
boys
damage
coming, the boys coming behind him were lucky to react fairly quick because they were closing in fast.
I reckon what's happened there, Riley's just got a bit too low and just clipped the apron a little bit. He's just touched that yellow line, and that's just spat him up into the wall, and huge damage. And I think that was JCW, Josh Carroll-Walden, got very lucky with that one because he almost got a huge hit with that, and that could have been race over and done with for him.
Oh, he did get a hit.
He did get a hit, yeah.
That right guard is flapping around in the air, and that right front steer tyre is at the wrong angle.
Okay, so we are just getting news that we might have to just retweak the server because there's been little issue with the setup, and we think maybe it's because of the iRacing update that's coming may have just messed things up a tiny bit, unfortunately. So we'll keep you abreast of that news and work out the issue there. But you can see that with JCW, that really caught the front end of that thing out, and that's going to be his night pretty much over and done with as well.
Yeah, that right front wheel's got a hell of a lot of toe out on it. So on JCW's car. But it looks like he's got it repaired and he's coming back out now.
Okay, he may have got a reprieve though.
See,
So we will keep you abreast of the news when it comes in. As I said, there might be having just a restart just because of that server issue. So just listening into the driver chatter as that one goes on. It's always the tricky thing, Matt and Mark as well, is when you're trying to listen on the driver chatter and talk away on the broadcast. You've got multiple things going on at the same time.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm always very conscious of trying to talk in you guys' ears when you're in full flight talking about something. I just don't want to put you guys off.
I know it's a very tricky thing to do, especially if you're listening to the in-race chat, and you get your get your producer chatting away. You've got like 4 different voices going on at the same time. You're just like, I don't know what's happening right now.
And I'm pretty bad at telling you guys when I'm on mute and when I'm not. So you guys are going to kind of got to guess when I'm going out on the broadcast and when I'm just talking to you guys. I need to be better at that.
I was going to say, Carl, you've only got 4 voices.
Yeah, well, I don't have too many internal voices these days. Luckily, the medication helps with that.
I think I might need to start sharing some of them with you, Carl. But we still don't have an update, as you're saying, Carl, but there's only 45 minutes or thereabouts before the servers go down. So for iRacing maintenance.
If it was me, it was my call, I would say, look, everybody's got the same one. So everybody should have the same setup. It's the same for everybody else, for everybody. So just make the most of it. But yeah, I'm not out there racing, so
I think the call is good. I think the call is just to continue the race on as per usual. It's just going to be a slightly shorter race tonight. That's all. Which is I'm not going to complain about, and I'm sure Matt's not going to complain about too, because that means you can actually go to bed somewhat early.
Could go to bed tonight instead of tomorrow morning.
Yeah. That's all right. I prepare for a late night these days.
Always tricky. All right, pace car is about to pull in, so we're going to go back to racing. So we're going to keep on racing here tonight and carry it on. So we'll only have 40 odd minutes remaining in this race. So we should still get some good laps in here, but it'll just be a slightly time-shortened race. So Barry Neal's going to be leading away now on this restart after a lot of cars came into pit lane. Of course, did their minor adjustments, and the green flag drops into the restart zone. They go, and Barry Neal pulls away nicely.
Ryan Jones there gets his nose chopped off by Phil Otto, not wanting to get around the outside. But the car that we've got to keep an eye on now is that 27, that bright yellow car of Josh Schultz. He's been able to bring himself up to position 4.
He has, but we've got a lot of cars that came through pit lane. Toby Stent, Matty Ray. Well, everybody from 7th down has come through pit lane. Of course, we run a closed open setup for the Cup. That means you can tweak the setup as you in the race. You can't tweak it beforehand, but you can change things like the bump and the tyre pressures, and this could be a huge boon for those guys that have tweaked it. So keep an eye on those cars that have tweaked it, but a lot of cars jumping up a few positions. Ryan Jones up 22, Jai Shorts up 19, Matt Patton up 22 as well, and Phil Otto up there in P2 at the moment. So nice to see the number 1 right up the pointy end of the field.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the other thing that's really good to see at the moment, Carl, is that 83 car. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to jinx him, up in that top 10 very early in the race.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers that came through pit lane and did a quick tweak. So we'll see how that car goes on throughout the night. But currently in the lead, it's Barry Neal flying the flag for the Kiwis up in the front. So keep an eye out for Barry, because this is one of those tracks where he can be really strong at. He's sort of able to run a nice low line. He's able to run that low to mid line very, very well. And at a place like Nashville, that can be a huge advantage in the race. Phil Otto, though, is keeping him honest at the moment. The gap only 0.3 of a second. They've pulled away a bit from Ryan Jones, who's just about 0.8 of a second back. Jai Schultz just falling out to about a second in 4th place at the moment.
Sorry, Carl. I'm just keeping an eye on this battle for 10th and 11th. 10th and 9th and 10th between Andrew Dyson and Daniel Hedershy. They have been too wide since the restart of this race.
Yeah, it's been great action through the field, and as you say, too wide here throughout this whole time. That takes a lot of skill But you've got to be so careful not to burn up the tyres, not to get them overheated. Look, the tyres on the next gen car, they don't tend to wear as quick as some of the other models, but the heat tends to be a big killer in these things. Got to be careful of overheating them.
Yeah, definitely the heat is the big killer in these tyres. Where the old Gen 6 cars, they wore the tyres. It didn't have the heat, but these things definitely heat up a lot quicker and a lot harsher too.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of characteristic of the low profile 22-inch rims that we race on nowadays. Of course, it's a very different style of tyre to what we raced in the past, and throughout different series as well. You know, from NASCAR to F1, they've all changed to these low profile tyres, and they're a very different beast to race on.
Yeah, most definitely are. We just keep an eye on Toby Sten. He's closing in on Daryl Hockey, but he's got Matt Patton right on his tail, right on his bumper, giving him the hurry up. So through from 5th through to 11th now. It's going to get very heated very quickly.
It's indeed nice to see Daryl Hockey up there, one of the newer members to the ANZCAR Cup Series, and he's having a good race there. Matt Patton, of course, we've seen Matt around a couple of times, but not raced for a while. But good to see him getting some speed into that Toyota tonight and running up there nicely. So good to see a few new faces as well up towards the front of the pack, a few returning faces as well. Currently, it is Barry Neal in the lead, about 4/10 ahead of Phil Otto at the moment as they go
three wide.
Down the inside goes Neil Pearson, and up high make it through. Fantastic overtake there. And Daryl Hockey, he was playing the piggy in the middle there, and he lost out very quickly there. But great driving from everybody to keep it on the track. There was a little bit of door touching between all of those cars, but they were just little touches, nothing major. That's exactly what we love to see in oval racing.
Yeah, and Shane Bowen's going to get underneath him here, and then right behind them, we have 3 of the SRM boys starting the link up together. But in saying that, Matty Ray has just pulled up high and dropping back a couple of spots. So let's hope there's nothing wrong with that car.
Looks like he's choosing to take the high line. A couple of drivers trying that line approach. Of course, that high line tends to be a little bit gentler on tyres, but it's not quite the fastest way around the track. So it's a different line to take, but it could pay off for him in the long run points. So it's all about getting to the end of the race, or getting to the final stages of the race, because it is going to be time assured. So
Carl, 3 wide again between Dyson and Patton and Heddershide. This is some really good racing. I don't mean to cut you off like that, but we need to keep up back and forth, because 1 or 2 laps and they single out, then they really get back together and get racing 3 wide. So we're definitely going to be on for a show tonight with this race.
We are indeed, and those battles are actually just sort of letting the front runners pull away a little bit. So as those battles continue on, it's just helping some of the guys up front just pull away a little bit. Although Neil Pearson has now broken free and is working his way up the field, and he's the guy on the freshest tyres, of course, and on the fresh car as well. So he's got some tweaks in that car, and he's making use of them at the moment. One of the fastest cars on track. He's right behind Ryan Jones, putting the pressure on a little bit further as Neil Pearson makes the move around the high side, just drives past Ryan Jones there and absolutely makes it look like he's driving a different class of car. So I'd say those little tweaks are making a difference to that vehicle.
Yeah, definitely. Next, Ryan's going to come under fire from Toby Stent. So Ryan will be hoping for another caution very soon to get in and do those tweaks. Otherwise, he will find himself back out of the top 10 very soon.
Curtis just having a bit of a moment similar to Riley Curtis. Back end stepped out on him through the exit of the corner. Luckily, though, he managed to catch it in the nick of time and keep the car pointing in the right direction. Very nicely done indeed. Andrew Dyson making his way past Ryan Jones, who's starting to sink a little bit now. He's up 18 positions, so he's managed to make up a lot of positions, but he's starting to lose them now to those guys that have made the tweaks. Probably lowered the tyre pressure a little bit, and they're just able to run a little bit harder here and just pull away from each other. So that's the difference it makes. A little bit further back, we're going to get free wide action again as Matt Padden has Lachlan Oakio going down the inside of himself and Shane Bowen on the high side. They're side by side now, the 42 and the 308 coming on to the front, well, the front trioval section, the front triangle, and they are racing hard down here for 9th and 10th position.
A little bit of a touch there, I think, between Bowen and Oakio. Just a little love tap and hurry up. But the other battle that's heating up again, back up the front, is Stent and Dyson.
Yeah, those two racing hard. Neil Pearson's just managed to put it past Joey Schultz now as well. He is closing in towards the front runners. Fastest lap for Neil Pearson by a good couple of tenths as well. So he's got some good speed in the red flavour of DPR car tonight. He is moving himself up towards the front. Phil Otto's got a nice little gap at the moment, as well as Barry Neal leading. The two up the front have managed to pull out a fairly decent gap over the rest of the field. But watch Neil Pearson, he's flying at the moment, closing this gap down. Won't be too long until we see him all over the tail of Phil Otto. Josh Schultz now has Andrew Dyson getting up to his heels and starting to nip away at it as Neil Pearson just absolutely obliterates the fastest lap time. Just absolutely going for it now. He's fastest car on track by a good, good 4 or 5 tenths. So he's really got some pace in that vehicle at the moment. Ryan Jones fighting it out side by side with Daniel Hederscheid as well. Lots of action going on the track. We're being treated to some good racing as the sun starts to set. The lights start to come on here at Nashville.
Yeah, so Carl, we should see about between 45 and 55 laps in the tank. So another 20 laps and we should start to see guys that haven't pitted already down pit lane. But we've got to ask the question, and can we see those DPR cars get longer range, longer fuel stint like they have been able to do in the past?
Yeah, I think taking advantage of that fuel stint could be crucial. I think possibly just trying an early stop here tonight could be a really good advantage. Neil Pearson's got past Phil Otto now and is chasing down Barry Neal. Big old battle going on behind as well as Josh Schultz has Dyson and now Toby Stent coming down the inside, pushing their way forwards. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Josh Schultz pulling it into pit lane in probably the next 5 to 10 laps and trying to get a little bit of an advantage here. Because we know it's going to be a time-sensitive race, it might be worth just coming in a little bit earlier, just coming in, getting those fresh tyres and really, really getting a bit of an undercut so you can take advantage. If it runs green, you could really find yourself in a good position for the latter stages of this race. Lachlan Oakio now getting past Josh Schultz. Josh Schultz there and pushing his way up. Ryan Jones battling away with Shane Bowen as well. Plenty of action tonight. The track is absolutely alive with racing.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we're being treated to a great piece of motorsport racing. I can tell you though, is JCW is back out there circulating all by his lonesome at the back. So nice quiet night for JCW.
Yeah, he's on the lead lap, which is somewhat crucial for him, but that car is looking very second hand. Christopher Tomlin, Tristan Koch out there as well. They both are lap down at the moment. Of course, Raymond Yeager, Riley Curtis and Aidan Schultz from this race. So we see here some of the action a bit further down at the field. Luke Crum just getting past Jamie Nankervis. We've got Nigel Patton and Kobe Jordan as well battling away. This is for 22nd, 23rd and 24th at the moment. A little bit further up, though, it is really tightening up at the front of the field. Ryan Jones getting very, very tight, getting passed by Urquio now. And there's plenty of fights going on. The track is a smorgasbord of action at the moment.
There is one person that's making his way back through the field, and that's the 98 of Stephen Williams. He's now up into 18th.
Yeah, Stevie Double is working his way up, and I wonder if he was just saving a little bit in those early stints with a couple of other drivers, just trying to save a little bit more and seeing what they can take advantage of here. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see who can absolutely get their timing to perfection. We've got 56 laps remaining here tonight, so it's getting to that stage where, you know, if you can make it about 55 laps, you could pull it in the next 5-10 laps, try for a massive undercut and see what you can do. We've got 27 minutes remaining in this race, so it's going to be just sort of marginal if we make it to the allocated laps or not.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. If we stay green, we should make it. But if we have a couple of cautions, then we're definitely going to be in jeopardy of not making it.
So we've seen some great racing tonight, and well, the last few weeks as well, plenty of green flag running throughout the series, which is absolutely what we love to see. This week alone, pretty much all race long, it has been green flag racing between the trucks, the Xfinity, and of course the Cub. A little bit of a moment a bit further down the field. We saw cars displaying out, but everybody made it through nicely. I think that was Alexander Sheridan just dropping in, and I think Ruben Phelps might be coming into pit lane.
He is in pit lane.
So, will be interesting to see what Phelps can do here, coming out and, well, see what he can do to the end of this race. He should be able to just about make it to the end from here, and he could be setting himself into a really good spot if it goes green, which is looking more and more likely. We may see it, but of course we know with racing anything can happen, and it usually does. Up the front of the field, Barry Neal has got Neil Pearson all over the back of him as they're just getting past JCW. The Tari car there just limping around at the moment. A lot of damage on the 35, which is unfortunate, just getting caught in the wrong place at the wrong time when Riley Curtis had his big moment. But you can see Neil Pearson all over the back of Barry Neal here, and Barry's not going to make it too easy for Neil. These two are veterans on the oval racing circuits. Both of them have got wins under their belts, and both of them know where to place the car. Right place, right time. So could be a fairly decent battle here for the lead. And I wonder what Neil Pearson's going to be able to do, and if those little setup tweaks are going to really help him in this run.
It's starting to tighten up again between Jamie Nankervis, Luke Crum, those guys down in the 19th through the 24th. The backwards and forwards, and unfortunately my pick of the night is falling backwards again.
The curse continues, Mark. That's it.
That's it.
We apologise for any driver that we mention by name, as always. We cannot be held accountable for conditions that happen due to commentators' curses.
Toby Jordan's in pit lane.
Okay, so he's decided he's going to try and come in on an early stint and see what happens here. Of course, caution can absolutely unravel these plans, but if it goes green, they could be in a really strong contention. Battle between Luke Crum, Jamie Nankervis, and can't see who that is. Up the front, we've got a lead change though. Neil Pearson side by side with Barry Neal. They're fighting it out. Really, really putting the action in here and going hard with each other. And Barry Neal just holds on to the lead there. Great driving. They're starting to heat up now, and we know these two drivers. Well, they're very racy with each other.
Yes, they have history. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, just a tiny, tiny bit. I mean, we could probably write a small book with it as well. It's fairly good. But they will race each other hard. There is no love lost between them, but they will race as clean as possible as well. You can see Neil Pearson's just trying to get some different lines, trying to get a different exit here as they come up to the tribal section. That time it didn't work out. Look at how much time it's lost him to Barry Neal. So that high line is telling me it's not working on the exit there. So he's going to have to think about a slightly different line to take to try and get the run past. A little bit further back, we see Daryl Hockey fighting it out there as well. And those guys fighting away hard. Maddie Rain moving up the field too.
The other thing to remember too, Carl, is Neil Pearson's been down pit lane. Barry Neal hasn't. So Neil's probably better off just biding his time and wait until Barry has to go down pit lane, and then make hide of that free air in front of him.
Yeah, so only about 7 laps between them. So they're not that much fresher tyres, not that much more fuel on board, but he could take advantage. We're seeing Stevie Dubb come down pit lane, so pit stops are starting to happen. Tristan Koch also in the lane. As we go back to a replay here, what's happened to the number 98 of Stevie Dubb? Looks like himself and Norman Clark now on track at the moment.
I think when he came into the pit, he might have gone onto the grass a little bit. So we'll just have a follow and see.
Yeah, keeping an
There
eye
we go.
on that one.
A little bit too hot. Yep. Made it just in time though. Or Gary Wellman didn't though.
No, Gary Wellman's going to have to go around and mow some lawns there. And, his hot streak does not continue tonight. Although, saying that, it's Gary Wellman, and he could be 4 laps down and still take a victory. We know that he is incredibly good at the moment. But when you make pit stops like that, it does not help your cause.
No.
Definitely not. Just keeping an eye on this battle at the front. It's stabilised at the moment. Neil and hasn't made any inroads. Still just about a half a second gap between Neil and Pearson.
I have been seeing Neil making contact with the wall a few times now. I've seen him do it about 2 or 3 times on corner exit. Not much to, not enough contact to get damage, but
we've got a wreck happening, and I think we may see the caution flag fly. Yes, we do indeed. As Matt Patton has gone around. I wonder if there was a tiny bit of contact. Oh, the car's just got loose and got on that yellow line, got on the asphalt, and the 2 different materials do not mix. They were racing hard with each other. I was about to mention Ryan Jones working his way back up through the field, but that point is null and void here. So just see it there. It just touches the apron there. And the left side of the car gets onto the asphalt, which is very different, and the right side's on the concrete, and it just spits the car around. And that's the 3rd time we've seen an accident like that. 2nd time where it's taken big contact into the wall. Luckily, nobody else involved. Unfortunately, Matt Patton was. He was having a solid run up until there, and that's really cost him. And this is going to hurt those guys that have come through pit lane. Dave Douglas had just made his way through pit lane, but I think he might just get away with it. Everybody else down pit lane this time, though.
Yeah, everyone's in pit lane.
So we'll see how this one goes. Dave Douglas will stick it out there, of course. He'd only just made his pit stop. Christopher Tomlin's going to get the lucky dog, so some good news for him. Now, what are people going to do? How is pit stops going to go? Who's going to come out first? Who is going to perfect this one? We will find out in the very near future. It's going to be a race off the road between Neil Dyson and Barry Neal, and they make it off, and it's Dyson who gets out in front of Neil Pearson. Andrew Dyson absolutely lightning through pit lane as always. He managed to take about almost a second out of both Barry Neal and Neil Pearson in his pit lane time.
Yeah, we've seen Dyso really nail those pit stops. No matter what type of track it is, he can just seem to make up spots in his pit stops.
Yeah, he just all through pit lane time, that one. They all changed all 4 tyres, of course, and got fuel. Jai Schultz as well, he had a really good time, 40.9. Andrew Dyson, 40.8. It's being comfortable, being right on the, well, say the limiter, but there is no pit limiter, of course, in a NASCAR, so you've just got to do it all manually. Now, there are some cars that are going to get the wave around here. So, Kobe Jordan, Stevie Dubb, Ruben Phelps, Dave Douglas, Gary Wellman, Tristan Koch are all going to get the wave around. So, luckily, they are not going to be too far off. I think Gary Wellman, he is a lap down. So, I think Gary Wellman is going to be a lap down just after this. He lost a lap due to that misdemeanor down pit lane. But everybody else will be on the lead lap. A couple of them will have some nice warm tyres for the restart, and that could be crucial. We've seen how these cars respond on a restart when they've had a bit of a heat cycle through them.
Yeah, they tend to be better on the restart, but 5 or 6 laps into that restart, those new tyres tend to come up a little bit better.
Well, they've not done too much of a run, so about the longest run is Ruben Phelps with 13 laps. So it's not. I don't think we're going to see too much drop off there, in all honesty. So he might get away with it, but I imagine those cars that are going to be restarting from the back, if they manage to close up to the tail before the pace car pulls in and before the green drops, they could be lightning on this restart and have a bit of an advantage for those first lap or two, while the others try to get up to temperature. We've got 16 minutes remaining, 33 laps left of this race here tonight at Music City. It is Nashville Super Speedway here on Performance E-Streaming. It is the ANZCAR Cup 2023. It's race 17 of 36, and well, we're in for some action here.
Can we see Ryan Jones finally get onto the top step?
I mean, that second place is looking good for Ryan at the moment, but we'll have to see how that one unfolds. A lot of hungry drivers up there, though. Barry Neal being one of them. He would sorely love to get a victory and get himself locked into the chase, locked into the playoffs, of course, and get a victory under his belt in the Cup cars as well. Could be very useful stuff. Pace car is about to pull in. Barry Neal is going to be leading us away here with Andrew Dyson on the outside as we go into this last bit of the race, coming up to the restart zone now, of course. Leader's choice in the restart zone. When does he drop it? When does he drop it? He drops it now. Gets away nicely. Nice start there for Barry Neal. Smooth on the front, not too much wheel spin. Neil Pearson as well. Low line seems a little bit nicer on the restart. It doesn't make it underneath Dyson there, but he gets up alongside him on the restart. Now Dyson is going to try for a run. Neil Pearson, though, he's got an absolute lightning start on that low line. He's going to move himself up into P2. Toby Stent as well, pushing his way forward with Daniel Hederscheid. Ryan Jones sitting at the back with Lachlan Urquio.
Look to me like Dyson might have got into the wall.
We've got a car going round in the background, and we're going to get the caution flag flying, I think. Will we? Oh, it might not fly. Luke Crum has had a big moment, and he has had a big moment over the line, as well as Gary. Well, Stevie Dubb, I think, was also caught up in that one. We will try and get the replay for that one. Neil Pearson has a big moment on the exit of the corner. Somebody else having a big moment as well. These cars are really not. As Dyson gets turned up at the front, Matt, we need to jump to the front because there is huge amount of action happening. Dyson and Pearson get into each other and cause the mother of all wrecks for DPR here tonight at Nashville.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there.
Lots happening over that last few laps. I mean, I'm glad a caution flag came out because we need it to unpack it. I think maybe Toby Stent was involved in that one as well, as Neil Pearson got up in the wall. And those three cars make contact with each other and take themselves lower in this race. So let's see the replay here. Neil Pearson gets loose off the exit there, loses time to Dyson. And this gives Toby Stent the opportunity to try and push it through the middle, I think. He's getting a run that Dyson just moves up, gets contact there.
Look at
Ooh,
Pearson got the wall again, I think, and that might have freaked Tony out a little bit. Toby out.
yeah.
Go back here. Slow it down a bit. We'll jump on the blimp view. See, Neil gets loose there into the wall. Slow checks up, gets a hit from Dyson with the check up of speed. And I'm just curious about whether Neil gets Pearson gets the wall again here. See right there, he gets the wall again, and maybe Toby thought that he was going to be slowing down, and yeah, not too sure.
Yeah.
Leave it for the officials to unravel post-race, I think.
Yeah.
So as that was going on, there was also a few cars behind as well having some big moments. We were just watching the replay, I think. But Alexander Sheridan, he had a huge moment off of turn 1. And then the lap prior, there was Stevie Dubb and Luke Crum getting into each other as well. So plenty of action happening there on that restart. And it was actually the Luke Crum and Stevie Dubb one was a bit of a weird one. Because
it was, because
Stevie Dubb got...
Yeah, Crum spins here on his own. Stevie Dubb's nowhere to be seen.
He gets loose as well on the exit. So he's had a big lock-up. He's had a big snap on the exit.
Looks like he actually may have just brushed the wall too on that when he got loose.
Who? Crum?
No,
Stevie Williams.
Yeah. Stevie Dubb, no, he like on my screen he was away from it. The back got close, but he didn't touch it. But it snaps on the exit there. He fishtails, and then it takes traction now and spews him down. And if Luke Crum hadn't had that moment, then they would not have made contact. But they both had a accident with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, if Luke wasn't having his incident, there would be no hit there. But yeah, it looks like it's the exact same thing that happened to Riley earlier. Like, it gets a little bit loose, and then they kind of correct it, and just can't correct it, and boom, they go on. They fires them up into the track.
Yeah. So, an eventful couple of laps there. And that has really changed the front pack up. We have got Barry Neal, Daniel Hederscheid, Ryan Jones, Lachlan Oakrio, Darren Lobb, Jai Schultz, Shane Bowen, Maddie Ray, Brenton Henderson, and Andrew Dyson in 10th. So every one of those drivers, apart from Jai Schultz has got a victory next to his name this season, of course, remember. But everybody else is fighting to get themselves locked in to the chase, into the playoffs. So they, it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes, because all of these drivers are going to be very, very hungry indeed. Lachlan Oakrio, he will really want to do it because he's currently leading the non-winning cars championship. So he's had a fantastic season so far, just with consistency. But he's not got that W next to his name, so he'd sorely love to do that just so he can get himself locked into the playoffs if he can. Barry Neal, of course, would very much like to get the W next to his name, get himself locked in. Ryan Jones, of course, we've seen him getting so many P2s this year, but could this be the night where he finally locks himself in for a victory? Plenty of action here to come in this last 10 minutes. It's going to be 19 laps here at Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Ryan can actually stick with Barry on this restart and get it and drive himself to the front. He's been so close so many times this season. Something has to give for him this year. Let's hope he's got his rabbit's foot and every other luck and charm that he can get into that car tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be very hungry indeed.
Yeah, well, as I keep saying to him, you keep putting yourself in these situations here. Sooner or later, you're going to get a little bit of luck, and it's going to go your way.
As they are coming up to the line, pace car is about to drop in here. We're going to go up to the restart zone again, and it's the 22 Aratora Racing of Barry Neal that's going to lead away. It's Daniel Hederscheid on his outside. gets away nicely again. Barry Neal pulls away nice, and Ryan Jones gets a great restart there as well, jumping ahead of Daniel Hederscheid. Of course, Daniel Hederscheid, another one of those drivers that has got a victory next to his name for the playoffs. Lachlan Oakville trying to push his way up quickly as well, wanting to get himself up in contention as quick as possible. And they are 3 wide in the background, but we'll keep our eyes up the front on this restart. As away they go, Ryan Jones pushing up quickly. He wants to try and get there as fast as possible. Does not want to see Barry Neal running away with this. He sees, Jai Schultz just has a snap of oversteer on the exit, but catches it luckily. Ryan Jones really, really pushing at the moment, as we can see in the background as well. Urquio down the inside with Darren Lobb just behind him, and Andrew Dyson working his way up there quickly. Oh, contact for Urquio. He saves it somehow. Saves that. Save of the day for Lachlan Urquio. That was a hell of a save there. But we'll keep our eyes on the racing as we watch the replay here. A little bit of contact between himself and Daniel Hederscheid, and he saves it on the corner there. That was a big moment, but he keeps it up there. We're going to have to jump to the front of the race now, because Barry Neal has got cars all over the back of him. It's Ryan Jones and Daniel Hederscheid side by side at the moment. Darren Lobb up there as well with Dyson, as Brenton Henderson has a moment in the background, but we'll keep our eyes on the front, because this is where the real action is going on. They're side by side as they come into 1 and 2. Jones washes up a little bit, tiny bit of contact between himself and Hederscheid, but they keep it pointing in the right direction. That's cost Jones momentum as the 2 DPR cars go down the inside and out and make their way through. It is Lobb on the inside, Dyson on the outside. Barry Neal leading with Daniel Hederscheid all over the back of him. It's a Kiwi fight at the front between Neal and Hederscheid, who are just pulling a little bit of a gap at the moment, but Daniel is putting as much pressure as he can on the back of the orange car. We've got Shane Bowen working his way up as well. He's catching up to Ryan Jones at the moment with Lachlan Urquio too. So plenty of action here. 6 minutes remain in this race. 13 laps to go. We are very quickly coming to the end of tonight's action.
And there's still plenty of action further back in the field with Matty Ray and Norman Clark. And can't see who that picked that up. Alexander Sheldon, all having a good battle there for the 9th through the 12th.
Yeah, plenty of action going on the track, as we see Sheridan there trying to get down the inside of Matty Ray, and they are battling it out with Phil Otto as well down there too. Good to see Phil up there in the top, battling it out in the top sort of 15 spots. He's had a good run. There's contact between Hederscheid and Neal. Gets the car loose. Barry Neal runs up high with Hederscheid and make it back on the racing line, but they lose so many positions. 3 wide as Ryan Jones goes down the inside. Dyson has got the lead now with Darren Lobb, and Ryan Jones makes it up into 3rd, but he runs wide into the first corner, gets tight there. They're 3 wide on the exit. Contact between Jones and Neal. Lachlan Urquio and who was that? That was Shane Bowen up in the wall. Huge impact for Bowen and Jones, and that's going to bring the caution flag out.
Wow.
I think the boys are checkers or wreckers at the moment, aren't they?
Wow.
See if I can unpack that one.
There was plenty of contact there. I think the one that was the coup de grace, though, was a little bit of contact between Urquio and Ryan Jones. And Shane Bowen as well. They all 3 of them made contact at the wrong possible time. But absolutely knife fighting at the moment between those cars. The 3 wide there. There's contact on the exit between Neal and Jones. And then Jones goes down. Little bit of contact between himself and Bowen. And that's the big hit there. And Urquio just slivers through again. He has obviously got his lucky clover on the racing wheel tonight, because he's made it through another big moment. Stevie Dove gets caught in that one with Jamie Curvis and Ruben Phelps.
Some damaged cars there.
It's not unhappy drivers out there at the moment.
Yeah, I would imagine there would be a few
Uh,
number of wrecked
Ale-
cars out there.
Alexander Sheridan's had a moment just trying to get back to pit lane, and it's just don't know if he's actually had a blowout or something, because that car's just absolutely gone on him. As he's coming in the corner, back end just goes on him. That was an odd one.
Yeah.
Did not look like he put any brake pressure on there. It's just going through the corner. All of a sudden, the back end steps out for no reason.
And then after that,
It caught Kobe Jordan, unfortunately. Kobe Jordan got a fairly hefty whack. So he's got some damage. But that was bizarre for Sheridan.
just trying to look at that car and see if it's driving okay. It seems to be okay, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, he's lost it again coming into the pits. So there's definitely something broken in it that's
Yeah.
causing it. It's just not happy with how it's
It's
going.
not happy moving.
No. It's almost like it's, yeah, crabbing out a little bit. Yeah, and unfortunately for Kobe, wrong
Yeah.
place, wrong time again.
Yeah.
It's very
That
weird.
was bizarre. As I said, it looked like something went. It just, yeah. It was an odd moment there. So, it was looking like we were going to see some good racing, good green flag racing, and then it's all gone a bit haywire here, unfortunately. So we've got 2 minutes left, 4 laps remaining.
I think
So, yeah.
I think something's broken in that because he got a little piece of his teammate, the 308, and that wreck. He got a little piece of that, and then it might have done a little bit of damage to the toe and the rear axle, and
Yeah,
and
there's
then just
definitely something broken in there.
in the suspension. Yeah,
Because it just, the car, like, I sort of was listening quite closely and looking quite closely. It didn't rev it up or anything like that. There was no obvious reason for it to go.
No.
So, really, really bizarre moment there for Sheridan in the Cobalt Racing entry. And a shame as well, because they were having some good runs tonight. And just a matter of, as we often see with team cars, it just takes a couple of bad laps and bang, away it goes.
So how are we looking for the timer?
58 seconds.
So what we think has happened is because iRacing have decided to do maintenance, the time is cut short on this race, and so all of a sudden, in 58 seconds time, we're going to just be stopped.
Yep. We sort of we'll get to, hopefully we'll get to the flag, and hopefully the results will work and everything, because we've had this issue.
Yeah.
Actually, it was last time at Nashville in the Xfinity cars, I think, that we had this exact same issue.
Yeah.
So I think we should.
Yeah, we'll quickly just show the results as they're running, because last time this happened a couple of weeks ago, we lost all the results, so we couldn't use them. So yeah.
Yep. So we'll hopefully have everything working out here. We should get the green flag dropping, I think.
Yeah.
So it should be almost a green-white checker, I think.
Yep. 1 lap shootout.
So it's going to be a final run to the flag here. It's Dyson and Darren Lobb up there as well. Driver that would be sorely loving to get a win next to his name. As Barry was out of position.
Barry, I think, he's dropping because he knows he's not going to be able to start properly. So
yeah, he's got some major mechanical issues, unfortunately. So getting it out of the way.
1 lap
As we
shootout.
get back to racing, and yes, indeed, there's going to be a final lap fling to the end. Daniel Hederscheid trying to get up there quickly right now. He's got ahead of Darren Lobb as they're coming up to the flag here tonight. It's Dyson with Hederscheid and Lobb. Lachlan Urquio really pushing forwards, trying to get himself up there as quick as possible. Will we get a white flag, or is it going to be the checkered flag? I think it's white flag. So yeah, 1 lap to go. No, that was the lap. Sorry, that was the checkered
one lap
flag.
shootout. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit odd, little bit wonky, unfortunately, but as is sim racing, sometimes these problems can happen. And it is Andrew Dyson taking out victory here tonight at Nashville Super Speedway with Daniel Hederscheid in second and Darren Lobb in P3.
So we'll quickly just chuck up the results just in case. Yeah, they look to be okay.
And Dyson does his victory burnouts. A man that was not looking like he was going to get a win when he was caught in the wall, but comes back up there and snatches a victory here tonight at Nashville.
Yeah, it certainly looked over when he was part of that three-car crash, didn't it? But no, once again, stay in it to the end and keep fighting and get the result.
Absolutely. Let us run through the finishing order here. It was Andrew Dyson with DPR taking out the victory. Daniel Hederscheid from Natari coming home second with Darren Lobb, a third DPR, a second DPR car in third. Lachlan Acquio brings it home in fourth tonight. That's great news for his championship run, getting some points in the bag, although sure, he would surely love to get a victory there as well. Jai Schultz comes home in fifth spot with Matt Patton. He managed to get back up there to the end, coming home in sixth position. Strong result for himself. Norman Clark comes home in seventh for Black Arrows with Dave Douglas in eighth position. Phil Otto makes it inside a top 10 tonight in ninth spot with Maddie Ray rounding out our top 10 for SRM. It's Daryl Hockey having a good run here tonight in 11th. Christopher Tomlin up in P12. Fine result for himself. Joshua Carroll-Walden somehow gets that car home in 13th position after it took a massive whack to the wall. Jamie Nankervis comes home 14th with Brenton Henderson in 15th. Kobe Jordan, 16th spot with Luke Crum 17th, 18th for Nigel Patton, Gary Wellman 19th, and 20th for Ruben Phelps. Toby Stent finishes 21st with Barry Neal 22nd, Tristan Koch 23rd, Shane Bowen will come home 24th, 25th for Alexander Sheridan, Stevie Love 26th, 27th for Ryan Jones, Neil Pearson 28th, 29th for Raymond Yeager, Riley Curtis 30th, and Aidan Schultz out early doors in 31st. So a little bit of almost made it for full laps, but just, those cautions did not help us out there at all. But some great racing up into that point. And what we will do is keeping an eye on the green room as we wait for drivers just to unwind a little bit, get a bit of a stretch, get a quick drink, and then jump in for their post-race interviews. A fairly chaotic race there at the end, Mark.
Yeah, it was a strange one because I think a few people mistook other people's cars for and was giving a bit of payback there. But nevertheless, it was some great racing right throughout the field tonight again.
Was indeed. Keeping my eyes down there. What we'll do is we'll bring up our second place finisher, Daniel Hederscheid for Natari. As we bring him up to the booth, the 035, Daniel Hederscheid. Daniel, do you get a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, congratulations tonight on a P2 finish here at Nashville Super Speedway. A very chaotic end there, but you managed to get the car home in second.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting race for a little short sprint race for the season. Like that sort of suits me because it's normally the end of the races where my races tend to shit. So for once, it was cool before I got to that to happen. But yeah, it was chaotic. I should have probably got wrecked a couple of times. It was pretty, chaotic on my behalf, on everyone's behalf. So, but yeah, I'll take it.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw a lot of action going on track as well. I mean, you made it through some of that chaos, but we saw a bit of a moment between yourself and Lachlan Oakrio, just that little tag, and then himself doing a massive super save. You must have been just glancing back there, thinking, how did he keep that one alive?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I felt pretty bad for that. Just lost it coming out of the corner. And yeah, he managed to survive, which made me feel a little bit better, but obviously it cost him a bit in the race time.
No, absolutely. I mean, if a driver survives it, you can put it in the past and go, yeah, no, that's all right, I guess.
It's not the worst thing I've done anyway.
Absolutely. And look, just on that restart, a little bit of a different restart there at the end with just a single lap to make it through, but it looked like that low line really helped you out.
Yeah, it was quite stressful going up to the checkered flag because we weren't sure if it was going to be a checkered flag or a white flag at the end of that caution. So, so it went white and we had one lap to get it done. And yeah, I sort of jumped the start just marginally, but managed to still keep the momentum and push past Darren into the corner. And yeah, managed to hold him out just. It was pretty close there at the end, but yeah, got it done.
No, absolutely. Real close stuff at the end of the race, but you bring it home in second tonight. It was a race where it looked like we might be seeing some new faces to Victory Road, but look, again, you guys, you just managed to keep getting up there, and yourself getting up in P2 tonight. That's a very solid finish for yourself.
Yeah, it's a good way to end the drought I've been having lately. It's been a pretty shit run the middle of the season, but hopefully we can get it together and start moving forward a bit for the end of the season before we get into the chase.
Absolutely. Look, congratulations tonight, Daniel. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love for shout out to the sponsors and people in general. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, shout out to the Natari boys again. Everyone that raced tonight, it was a bit of a mess, but we got there. Growth Odyssey, Fully Floored, and Turbo Alpha Japan.
Congratulations tonight, Daniel. Well done on P2, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in the near future. It's nice to see the drought ended.
Yeah, hopefully. Cheers, guys.
Daniel Hedderscheid there for Natari, bringing it home in P2 tonight. And we're missing our third place finisher, unfortunately. So what we will do is we'll bring up tonight's winner for DPR. It is Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyson, welcome back to the booth, mate. There we go. Can finally say words. Congratulations on victory here tonight at Nashville.
Thanks, man.
A bit of a chaotic last few laps there for everybody, but yourself included. We saw a big moment coming towards the end of the race where it looked like it might be night over for yourself.
You know, when you when you're facing the wrong way and then you're going sideways and you're coming back down the track and you know there's about 20 cars behind you, you're pretty certain someone's going to collect you and it's going to be the end of the race. But got through it, got down to the bottom. No one ran into me. I don't think anyone ran into anyone that was wrecking in that little thing there. So good job for everybody. And I survived it somewhat intact and was able to be there when things kind of fell into my lap, I suppose.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the only real visible damage you got was when you ran up into the back of Neil Pearson.
Well, the front of the car had a bit of damage. I'm just saying that now.
Yeah.
And I was asking Neil during the race if I had it, like what the damage was like. And he said, I was a little bit on the back, but the back of the car was ruined. So maybe that helped. The spoiler was up in the air a bit more, gave me a bit more rear downforce for the throttle on the exits. Who knows?
Absolutely. Look, we saw some really good racing. Up until that point, we saw you really battling hard with your teammate there as well. There was plenty of good racing on the track tonight as well. And those last few laps, well, you made it pay off. I think you started down in 10th position on the restart and just flew your way up towards the front.
Yeah. Oh, well, that first corner, there was a couple of cars three wide and I kind of felt confident enough that I could hang it on the inside there. And I think Matty probably played the safe card a little bit and he backed out a bit, so that got us a good run down the back straight and that set me up for those last few laps before the last caution.
No, absolutely. Look, congratulations on a fantastic job here tonight at Nashville. Nashville, it wasn't looking like a victory up until a point where you find yourself up the front, but a lot of talent used to get there as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Sorry, I missed that because I was reading a message from someone. I really shouldn't have. Sorry, I got distracted.
I'll just say you're good, that's all. You're kind of okay at getting these things around the track.
Yeah, enough of the old pumping up your tyres. Let's
I think that's the pension for him.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Victory denied. That's it. Out of it. For reading a message. Disgraceful stuff. Look, congratulations tonight, Daiso. The usual thing. We'll let you do the big shout outs. Go for it, mate. And have a jolly good shout away.
Thanks, man. Well, I want to say unlucky for Barry Neal there. He was pretty much in the box seat. I think he, with a little rub, and then that kind of got him into the pack, which was all good, a little rub, I suppose. But he got back into the pack, and that kind of took him out. But he was in a pretty good spot to have a dip tonight. So unlucky for Baz. So a quick shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Everyone at ANZCAR for putting on the whole show. Raymond for trying to run the races. Love your work, mate. You'll keep having a go, mate. I'm sure we'll get there. And the reason I was distracted is someone rated me when I was streaming, and then I rated him, and then he had some sounds, and I was really worried that I'd messed up his stream or something. So I was like, oh no, what have I done? I had to quickly check it, but he's all good. It was his fault on his end, so we're all right. But yeah, sorry about that. I was distracted.
You haven't destroyed anyone's career. That's something.
No, not this time.
Congrats, Daiso. I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
And finally tonight we will drag up our third place finisher, a little bit out of order tonight, because I think maybe just had to go and take a quick personal break. But third place finish tonight for DPR is Darren Lobb. Darren, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here at Nashville.
Hello, boys. Thank you. Bit late to the party. I've got to go through a checklist nowadays. I'm getting old. I forget to upload telemetry. I forget to do all sorts of things. And the one time I actually pick up a podium, I forget to jump on disco. So I'm here. I'm late.
Well, you made it in the nick of time. That's the crucial thing. And I mean, being a little bit late, it means you can come on last and take all of Dyson's thunder.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was going to race him hard for the win because I actually joked hard to go. I never thought I'd get a W on an oval to get me into the chase. I thought I'd always get it on a road circuit, and then he reminded me I've missed too many races to make the chase in any case. So at that stage, I decided we weren't teammates, and I was going to wreck him, but I got spoken out of it.
You just missed out. You got to go harder. You know, just make sure to give that back end just a nice little tweak in the entry to the corner. Look, it was a really strong run for yourself tonight, and look, speaking of that, it was on an oval as well. You're definitely getting the speed up on these left turners.
Yeah, it's probably my own doing in that I'm not going better on them. I just running too many supercars and all sorts of other leagues during the week that Thursday nights are still fun for me, and I get in and try run a couple laps before practice and jump in and steal all the tricks from Neil, Darso, and Steve. And I kind of thought I'd settle in a little bit tonight, and then realized that the server was too short and I had to get stuck in a little bit quicker, and it seemed to help because I got up to speed a lot quicker than what I normally do. It's normally I spend first half of the race trying to figure out how the hell to actually drive the thing consistently. This worked tonight. Just crank the brake bias down all the way to the bottom, slide it in, and turn it and get on the gas. It was good fun.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, through that race as well, we saw you working your way up through the field, you know, sort of easily getting yourself up into the top 10 all night long. And then, really right place at the right time for that restart. Although the high line didn't look like the easiest one to get off of.
No, it wasn't all that great. I did myself in on the on that last restart. I hadn't started off first gear the whole night. I don't think I've ever actually run a restart in these things in first gear. And Darso and Neil both warned me in Discord that it's a really, really like stab at the throttle and get into second gear. And yeah, I've got to be honest, I just hung it on the rev limiter for a little while. I probably backed the whole outside queue up and gave Daniel the line on the inside. But you live and learn these things. I was listening to the in-race chat during that first caution, and I'd unselected tires, so that didn't really help me. I missed my pit box, didn't really worry about it because I thought we were going to jump into another server, and then just had a nice first that long stint just driving through the field, and kind of thought, well, we're in for a shot here at the end, but bloody schooled by that 41. It's bloody irritating. I know, everybody else moans about it, but I get to hear what he's doing, so I've got no excuses. It's just getting on the wheel, right?
We all understand the pain, though. We feel it.
I had a quiet celebration when I saw them all go into the wall, though.
I know, it was looking good for a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, even then it didn't write him off. No, I'm kidding. I'm really happy for him. He's going really well. He's loving his oval racing, and it's good fun to jump in and learn from them during a night. It just kind of opens your horizons to all the different things you think about when you when you're turning left all night, there's thinking about pit stops, thinking about the tire strategy and all that sort of thing. It's just it's a whole new world for me at the moment. Feels like it wasn't that long ago that I actually did a lot of over racing, but I'm still learning. Maybe I'm just getting old and forgetting about it.
That's right. Luckily, all of us are getting old as well, so it's all equals a playing field. Congratulations tonight, Darren. Well done on a very strong P3 here tonight at Nashville Super Speedway. Look, we've made Daiso do the hard stuff of reading out the title sponsors, but any shout-outs you'd like to give tonight?
No, just a big shout out to you guys. It's always a good broadcast to go back and watch the next few days. And the boys from DPR, it's always fun on a Thursday night. It's late in New Zealand when the race is in, but it's always a good night spending time driving circles with your mates. So Simmerix.com, DPR, thanks boys, and thank you to you guys. Look forward to next week.
No worries. Hopefully we'll see you back in the booth in the near future. Congratulations on the podium here tonight, Darren.
Thanks guys, look forward to it. Cheers.
Darren Lobb there for DPR, and best oval finish for the ANZCAR series. So a really good job from him tonight. And well, we've seen how quickly DPR drivers can improve when they're road racing experts on ovals. Could we see Darren creeping up there in the near future? But well, that's done and dusted for tonight's broadcast, boys. And a little bit of a shorter race tonight, but some fantastic action out on track, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. Again, as we've seen all season so far, great racing right throughout the field. Close racing, some love taps and some good door rubbing. And it's just let's hope we continue to see this type of racing for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And we've got some more racing coming up in the week, of course. On Saturday night, it's over to Checkered Flag Eastern with yourself, Mark, and the Weekend Warriors.
Yep, we head to Pocono for the Outlaw Images 400. So nice long race there, 400 mile, which I think is about 600 and something kilometres. So some good racing there to be had.
Absolutely. And then on Sunday night, I'm going to have to rely on Matt to jump in and tell me where we are. Oh, we're in Texas. That's it. Legacy, Texas. I remember
Texas,
something.
yep.
Oh my word, I actually remember something. That is incredible. Legacy, Texas. So we're back at Texas on the old layout. So that should be exciting stuff. In the Australasian Supercar E-Series, of course, brought to you by Private Sellers. That is going to be some fantastic action out there. Of course, we hope you can join us back on Performance E-Streaming for that. And then next week, we are back with the Cup.
And we're going to Chicago.
Chicago.
The Windy City, yeah. Yep, so next Thursday, we'll be having our Chicago road race.
Yeah, it's the road course, isn't it?
Yep.
That's going to be interesting because, yeah.
It's a road course. Yep, I've had a look at it. I prefer Bow Isle, but
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll actually have to purchase that one. So that will be that would be my first time driving it and looking at it and things like that. So it should be interesting stuff indeed.
Sorry, one more thing. Sorry, just to interrupt. We aren't streaming the Thunder Series live, but we are putting up a highlights video for Thunder Series. So just check out the YouTube channel, and we've been putting up a bunch of other highlights and races that we've done over time as well. So yeah, just go in there if you want to have a little look and check and see how the Thunder races are going as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit more content for everybody, and just a chance for people to watch back some of the old races in a sort of highlights form, and reduces the workload a little bit on me at least. It adds more workload to Matt, so that's fine. But no, it's a really good little feature, and a big shout out for Matt for doing all that hard work. But a big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight on Performance E-Streaming. We will wish you a good night, and we will see you again on Performance E-Streaming on Sunday night.